Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Environmental Coffee House, and I am Sandy Shallis. Tonight I have, I don't know whether to call this a discussion or a rant, but it's something that's been with me all day. And I think it's kind of disturbing in a way. So I'm going to get started. What happened to me this morning, and hi Judy and hi Trevor. So what happened to me this morning was pretty interesting. I get this invite, this messenger invite. Hey Chanel, hi, this is great. I say hello to everybody, and again, like I said on YouTube, they don't know who I'm talking to. But I get this today. I look at the phone and I'm like, okay, what is this? So this person invites me. I let her in. It's a female. I'm figuring maybe it's something really interesting, right? So the note says latest books and documentary. And Torstein's joined us. Oh, wow. Torstein, yay. All the way from, Greenland, actually. So this woman, Martha Ball, says, latest books and documentary, the deliberate corruption of climate science. My latest documentary and video of my presentation. So then there's a presentation, then there's a website, then the words, the Trans Mountain Pipeline will add 3/10,000th of 1% CO2 to the atmosphere, which is probably a load of bull anyway. And then it says, besides, CO2 is not a pollutant. Human-caused global warming, the biggest deception in history, gives the link, right? Okay. And then it shows this book. And hi, Steve. So it shows the book and the presentation by Dr. Tim Ball, The Big Green Lie Exposed. And then it talks about the belief in man-made global warming, yada, yada, yada. So I'm thinking, wow, this is interesting because how would this person know me? Well, guess what? Martha is a member of a lot of the same groups that I am. Weird weather, climate change for dummies. A bunch of the groups that I read, I go to, this person is a member of. And to me, that's a little disconcerting because you know what that means. They're trolling our climate groups. They're trolling them. And I don't know who else might have gotten this today, but they're trolling the groups. And what they are doing is they are then sending this crap out and thinking that they're going to, get converts? But what's really, really uncomfortable about this whole thing is that if they're on these groups, and these people are on groups where we have discussions that are, private, or we want to talk to like-minded people. We want to talk to those that are thinking like us, that understand the science that we're reading, that understand that the scientific method has borne out the information. Oh, I lost a piece of paper. I had something I printed out. Oh, here it is. I got it. And basically, this guy says that CO2 is not a greenhouse gas. So I listened today. I listened to this whole thing. This guy, Tim Ball, is awful. And he is from Canada. And this whole thing, and I listened to two of his. And this whole thing was basically saying that we're a bunch of liars, that the scientists that are saying that global warming is actually happening, that there are the Arctic is melting, and that, basically that we are in trouble on the planet. He's saying, nope. Now, we could call, this person a climate denier, right? I'm kind of sick of climate denier. I do think we need to come up with something different. And it would be nice. And I'm trying to see if I want to show a couple of comments. Hi. I am working with something different tonight. And this is a different technology for me. So if I do not get to see all your comments, well, I'm going to try my best. So, okay, here we go. Mindy. Mindy, who's sitting in my living room watching, because she's here. Now, you see behind me, the graphic? Mindy is our graphic artist. Mindy does a fabulous job, and she's here visiting from California. But I digress. Let's go back and talk about Tim Ball. Tim Ball is he's a Canadian public speaker, and he taught in the Department of Geography at the University of Winnipeg from 1971 until his retirement in 1996. And he has worked with the Friends of Science and Natural Resources Stewardship Project, which oppose the scientific consensus on global warming. And he's a former research fellow at the Frontier Center for Public Policy. Now, these are right-wing think tanks. And his most famous statement is CO2 is not a greenhouse gas, which, of course, we all beg to differ. And it is a greenhouse gas. And other greenhouse gases are water vapor, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone. So we without them, we know what? Earth would be terrible. It would be an icy wasteland. These are what makes up life. But we also do know that the science and the scientific experiments and the methods that they use, Dr. James Hansen, Dr. Mann, all of them have shown that CO2, the greenhouse gas, is going to lead to catastrophic climate change. It already has. And this guy is dangerous. He is dangerous, along with all these other scientists that have lost their morals. Uh-oh. Umbra says, I'm watching yet another 5 cat hitting those poor Caribbean islands right now. Well, we will be reporting on that. After this, I'm going to put up information as we do. But I want to finish this because this is really super important. This means that we are in these groups, and there are a lot of trolls and lurkers and people who are pretending that they are on our side, which shouldn't be a side. It isn't a side. And it's not a belief. It is reality. Now, his videos were, he was talking about, maybe it was a couple of years ago, what really lost me right when he got to it, how he started talking about Obama and Obama's law school, which was small, that nobody had ever heard of him. Right then and there, I knew this guy was not somebody I was going to listen to, not somebody I could ever even like. You know, he was a little endearing, but this guy was in the university. He was talking to university students, and a couple of them did ask him questions. But the thing was, he's dangerous. And he was telling us pretty much that global warming is a lie, and that that nothing's happening. And he's putting up a whole lot of charts, and he's putting up all this research on the board that show all kinds of things. And you know how they like to say, they love to say that, oh no, the earth has been changing for so long. And well, yeah, of course the earth has been changing for so long. But yet in the last 40 years, we have done enough damage, right? How much damage have we done? Enough damage that really it is frightening. Now, Torstein says September 19th and no frost in Greenland. That's just not heard of. So you tell me that the CO2, which this guy also says, oh my God, it's good for trees. It makes trees grow. This is that load of bull these people like to tell to people that don't know a lot. And I never say that I know everything. You know that I always say that I am not a scientist. I learn from my scientist friends. But this guy, he calls greenhouse gases a deception, you know. What does Trevor say? In the last 100 years, we have destroyed the earth. We are well on our way. And we've seen it. And does this mean... All right, Vincent's with us. As much damage as... Hi, Vincent. Vincent loves to try to get my goat. But it's okay, because Vincent, actually, he is a good follower. He may not agree with everything, and that is okay by me, because Vincent's loyal, and he does follow us. And there are a lot of things that Vincent does actually like, because I do believe that, Vincent, you are somebody that cares about our environment. But we're talking about this guy who is completely funded by the fossil fuel industry. And in fact, he is one of the climate deniers. I want to come up with something else that DeSmog blog, the DeSmog blog, can you see? And let's try to get that keyboard down. Okay, here we go. My technical, here, that's him. And he is one of, which I didn't know this morning, DeSmog blog's big ones, you know. Now, he has a PhD that he got in 1982. He's got an MA from Canada. But it doesn't automatically mean that someone is nice, that someone has a stellar reputation. The guy is a sellout, and he's a right-wing lackey from Canada. I didn't even get to look at his position on the tar sands. I didn't even get to look at that, which we all know is, hi, Dale. Dale, you know, you could be a lurker, but not a troll. These people are stealing our names. Yes, it's a public group, but they're taking our names and they are using our names to send us this crap. Okay. Now, I did not have to accept it, but I looked and I thought, well, why not? You know, I wanted to see what it was about. It evidently was not some guy, you know, some creepy, perverted guy just trying to talk to me, you know, and that's not something that is a regular in my life here. But his background was, he was a professional speaker also at the University of Winnipeg. And he has been chairman to the now defunct Natural Resources Stewardship Project and a consultant to the Exxon-funded Friends of Science. Senior fellow at the Frontier Center for Public Policy, and has connections to other think tanks and right-wing organizations. Can you say sell out? Can you say no ethics? Can you say greed? Okay? Greedy. Now, he actually had the nerve to sit there and talk about Dr. Suzuki and talk about mansions that Dr. Suzuki had. Well, you don't know about this guy, this Dr. Ball. He didn't say where he lived. He didn't say how many houses he had. He didn't say whose pocket he was into those students that he was talking to. And his science was crap. You know, he was putting all these things on the board there, all these slides, and you could barely see them. And he was not giving the specifics on the science of these slides to the students. No, he was just bullshitting them. All he was doing was putting our ideas, which are not ideas, he was putting solid science down. Totally. And I was like, the university should be ashamed of themselves, because I know where his research money comes from. So this NS NRSP. And I've kind of wanted to talk about these people for a long time, so I guess I got my in, you know. Their past list of scientific advisors also has included other prominent, and they call them deniers, Tim Patterson, Tad Murdy, and Sally Bolinas, all of who are listed as advisors to the FOS. Now, I trust the Smog Blog. They really are a verified source of ours. They're not junk. They publish good stuff. They are, I got to fix this light a little bit. They are, I think, right on target. Nope, I don't think that works either. I think I need some kind of diffuser, but we're working on things. So, Steve, what are you saying? Steve says our trees here in LA mountains are dying because it doesn't get cold to kill the bark beetles anymore. Then the dead trees burn. A vicious cycle. Yeah, I wonder what Ball has to say about that, or the fires in British Columbia, or the fact that the warming ocean pulled up so much moisture that it destroyed Houston. No, not good, not good. Hey, Bob TV's here with us too. Right on. If you guys have never watched Bob TV on YouTube, you are missing a treat. He is one of the best political commentators out there. And I'm really honored that Bob has joined us tonight. We've been friends for quite a long time, you know, probably since the whole Bernie deal. I guess Bernie's still going on. But thanks, Bob. Yeah, Exxon is bigger than most countries, right? Well, anyway, so he's also a little bit of a bullshit artist. This Smog Blog found that he said Ball and his organizers said he's affiliated and has repeatedly made the claim that he is the first Canadian PhD in climatology. Whoa, which they don't believe. Ball himself claimed he was one of the first climatology PhDs in the world. Many have pointed out that there have been numerous PhDs in the field prior to this guy, you know. So not only is he a liar, he's also a psychotic liar. Okay. He has, here's one of his wonderful quotes, okay? Climate change is real, they say. Of course that is true. Climate has been changing since the origin of the atmosphere billions of years ago, and there is nothing humans can do to stop it from changing. Oh, yeah? It may be too late because of people like him, people with that corporate fossil fuel agenda. That's why it may be too late. That is why we're seeing these abrupt climate change events, because of these sellout scientists. And I love science. I love science with all my heart. You all know how much I talk about my love for science. But science and scientists are human beings. And that does not mean that people are not immune to greed. What is Judy saying? If you don't speak up and say so, then how are people to know? Well, I'm speaking up because I got this today. And Umbra, I feel you, Judy. I'm speaking along the lines of Trevor's link. They will just go elsewhere to find the garbage. Facebook is just one point of entry. Oh, I know. Oh, my gosh. Since I've been on YouTube, it has been quite a trip because, again, I've talked about this. YouTube is so anonymous. And I get people that, because I'm a female talking about what I talk about, like to insult me. You know what? Let them. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to stop. Like I say, I'm not going to stop. So let's go back to this guy. Here's another quote. He had a guest opinion on the What's Up With That, a blog maintained by climate change denier Anthony Watts. He says, the problem is not adequate funding. It's too many people getting too much money for useless projects because there are too many people in universities. It is too many people going to university. The blunt truth is that for the majority of students, it is socially acceptable form of unemployment. This guy's a creep. Students getting less than a B average should not even be in university. For them, it is simply grade 13, 14, 15, and 16. Some of this overattendance is because immigrant or newly successful middle-class families want their children to attend university. This came out of this guy's mouth. So we know what we're dealing with this. And I don't know if any of you got that same message that I got from this woman. If you did, block her. I haven't yet, because the best is yet to come. And that's what I wrote back to her for even picking the wrong broad. She got the wrong broad here. Let's see. So, here's another one. Pope Francis advocates the global warming agenda of the UN Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, with the help, and this was in 2016, of the Obama White House. Apparently, he doesn't know their ultimate objective of reducing and controlling population generally contradicts Catholic doctrine. Well, again, overpopulation is a problem. There's a lot of controversy. My opinion is not that we're being killed out by people that are just saying, okay, we're just going to kill you. It's a slow and insidious death. But we're not going to go into that right now. That's for a whole nother day. It is just a whole nother day. Oh, can I call him? I probably could. I probably could interview him. God knows what he would say, because I'll tell you what, I find that they're very rude, and especially to females. And I had a guy today. Oh boy, here's another one. I'll tell you, this was a YouTube guy, and it was a conversation because I thought the guy was kind of an ass. He was watching a video that I was watching again that actually I'm going to post called Collapse. And it was with Michael Rupert. And this dude, he said, oh, it's fear-mongering and it's an old video. And he says to me, this guy says, and this isn't even this ball guy. This is some other idiot on YouTube. He says, what information have you read? What they have allowed to be in the public domain so you could read it. Not every bit of information is available to read. A lot of facts are hidden from the public. Okay, I don't dispute that. He goes, I'm not going to find the links. I don't have proof. Any research showing the earth creates oil with its internal fires is buried deep. This dude was trying to tell me that peak oil was not a truth. Okay, that we haven't hit peak oil, that the earth deep in the crust is just manufacturing oil all the time. He was trying to liken it to creosote. Millions and millions of years of fossils and how oil was created. And this guy's likening it to creosote. And then when I asked him, he couldn't come up to anything. And he says, they don't want any kind of research showing that. But a few have put two and two together to hypothesize that the earth must be creating new oil. And by what I've read and studied, it makes total sense. And I believe it. Even if it's true that the earth is always producing new oil. Oh yeah, we could use it faster than the earth could renew it. It's not a solution to our problems. There's no solution. Because why does everybody want empirical proof or a solution? You do understand most everything we're told is a lie. Scarcity is a motivation for profits. If we all knew oil wasn't as scarce as we're told, the oil companies would not have been able to make profits that they do. Oh yeah, okay. It's true. The oil companies do make humongous profits. But I'm sorry. We have hit peak oil. It is not an unlimited resource. No, to this guy, again, an anonymous dude on Facebook who then goes and has to, can't just have a conversation with me. Oh, no. He had to actually put me down. He had to make sure that I was a dumb blonde who probably doesn't have a college degree, who misspelled something, because what he did was he went to my personal YouTube, which just has a couple of videos up. And oh my God, I misspelled venison, and the thing changed it from an S to a Z, but he actually said that I was pretty much a stupid blonde. I've gotten that before. Well, here's the thing. I learn what I learned because I have that quest along with so many of you. Does that make me a stupid blonde? It wasn't in my, I'm not. I was a human resources person, and I just think it's funny when those people that hide anonymously love to just, try to like nail me or put me down. Let them do what I'm doing. Let them start a successful page. Let them talk. Let them learn. Let them take a climate change class. I don't know what they're doing except hiding behind a screen. Oh, so to get back to Tim Ball, he's a sexist also. And he likened the global warming phenomenon to feminism. And he actually said that back in the day that women were told that, oh, it's fine, you can take off your bra and throw it away. And he actually made that kind of parallel, that it's the same thing with global warming, that we and that we can just be free. We know that this is happening. And he said that women are basically looking very quizzically like this, like they did at feminism. Basically, he was really, really being rude to females. So not only is Tim Ball a liar, he's a misogynist. Okay. He uses junk science. He's trolling, and his wife and whoever they are trolling the climate pages. And they're reading the climate pages, probably taking the material to write his bullshit book. Excuse my language. And if I had, hey, it triggered me today getting this, especially listening to that video, because he was so obnoxious also in his discussion about animals. And okay, Dale, you're asking me, how old is this guy? Still butthurt from the early women's liberals? Yeah, honest to God, because he's an older man. And yeah, Dottie's laughing. Yeah, he did. He actually literally talked about feminists. That was in the same thing when he was talking about the fact that Obama didn't go to law school, And he actually mentioned Trump too, but not in the video. He said, current election, whether you like Trump or not, his campaign and election represent a turning point in the human condition. Yeah, a turning point towards hell. It is reasonable to argue that the claim that humans were causing global warming in contradiction to the increasingly cooler weather people were experiencing triggered a reaction. The people said, you are lying to us about what's happening because you think we are too stupid to understand. I will not say anything about the Trump voter. I won't. I'm too classy for that. So we are, he said, we're basically rejecting everybody as academic and scientist, elitist scoundrels of the left, and that you represent and are taking more control of our own destiny. We are reasserting Abraham Lincoln's immortal words that it must be. So not only is he in the pocket of the fossil fuel industry, he is also a Canadian Trump supporter. He probably is getting money from the tar sands. I mean, Trevor, you live up there. You have a couple of those kind of people that troll you too. Well, when Mindy did the one meme that said trolls, they're just a different kind of climate denier. Do you remember that one? I'll have to put it up for you. And I made a t-shirt about it with that graphic. That was a good one because actually they are. They are. These climate deniers, they say they're just a different kind of troll, basically. And there are trolls. But what really gets me is that there's so many of them. And Umber says, I really wish there were easier ways to expose these nuts. Warn children, for example. It's really starting to affect them. well, I hate to say this, but in, oh my gosh, I forgot what country. Oh my. Well, one of the countries out there in the world there's an article that's coming up on Environmental Coffee House about it. They are taking everything about evolution out of their children's education, out of the textbooks. I'm sorry that I have such a terrible memory sometimes. They go out, come back, and that is not a function of being a dumb blonde. I think it might be more of a function that I hurt a lot, and I'm doing pretty good for being in pain and the things that I do every day. So, haha, hooray for me. So there is a way, Trevor, there's a way to get these people, but somehow we just have to be the activists we are. We have to be doing what I do and Trevor does, and so many do, talking about these issues and talking about the truth and the reality and using science, real science, not just charts that are showing climate trends over millions of years and saying that, oh, it always happens, because that's very naive. And that is catering to a population of morons. I'm sorry. I guess it is a rant. This got me all day. What is you? Dale says, are they using Betsy DeVos as a consultant? That was pretty good. I like that one, in that country. And it does sound like the USA, right, Torstein? But it isn't. It's another country. And I'll find it, you'll see it tomorrow. It'll pop up. It's scheduled to come out. Kim, what are you doing? You're getting ready for, the end of the world, the 23rd, according to the religious folks. Wow, the 23rd, I'm going to my sister-in-law's 60th birthday. So I guess I'll be amongst loved ones. Yeah, okay. So this guy, remember his name, Tim Bell, Dr. Tim Bell. And in my opinion, I don't think his PhD is worth the paper it's printed on. He talks about Gore. He does all of the standard bullshit that these climate deniers do. He does. But he is using us. They are using us. We need to beware of all the groups that we're in. And we need to be very, very careful of who we accept on our friends lists at Facebook also. A lot of people friend me because I'm, a kind of a public figure in a way. If they do not have a group of friends, mutual group of friends in one of the genres, either the activist pipeline genre or the near-term human extinction genre or the abrupt climate change genre or something, if they don't have a group, then I don't accept them. Even if they just have one friend, I don't accept them on my private Facebook, because my private Facebook is a lot of family stuff. And I just really, I like having these people. I love having all these friends. They're great, but I'm very careful, and so should you. We all have to be careful. We all have to be careful. This guy, though, and Barb, you might say I'm calling names. Yeah, I kind of am, because I'm offended that they picked me to send me this stuff. They're going through, they're unethical. They're not acting in an ethical manner to sell the book. Okay? That's how I feel. About memory. There's just too much madness going on, Sandy. I actually try to forget some of it by each nightfall, or I'll snap at their bait and get banned again. Oh my gosh. Thanks for making me feel better. Oh, here's Dale. Who does this remind you of? Smoke 'em if you got 'em, folks. Hambone Littletail, one of my favorites. He is one of my favorites. He really is. I gotta hide that comment too, because I didn't know if that was taking away. How did they find me? Kim, how they found me. I told you. They go into the groups, like the climate groups. They lurk, or they use a fake account or whatever, and then they start sending through Messenger their advertisements for the book. And his book, to me, he's an offensive guy. I found his videos to be offensive. And so if I say something and I'm on a rant, I'll call a name. I don't care. I'm an emotional person. We're talking about abrupt climate change. We're talking about how we have polluted the oceans, how we are polluting the skies with God knows what. We are driving vehicles that burn, emissions, okay? Here's another one. Every single tanker that is out on the ocean, those big tankers, they burn enough fossil fuel that equals, I'm not sure of this statistic, but it was like 50,000 cars. It was so incredible. I'll have to find that little ditty again. I was blown away. I was like just blown away. One tanker. And you know what's going on in the Arctic also is that they are going through where they used to be icebreakers. Russia, they're very happy in Russia that they can go up there without icebreakers because they're looking at it like an economic opportunity to drill. I'm not going to say what Hambone says, but if you go and you watch him, you'll know what he always says. So Umbra says, yeah, lots of accounts I checked turn out to be like 2 to 30 friends or actual government lapdogs like military, et cetera, proudly displayed on their pages. Well, we can't put down military people, though. You can't do that because so many people went believing the load that they were given. They believed in the country. This is a country. I believe in my country. I did. I believe in my people. You guys, that are Americans here with us. It's not always the little guy. So we want to be careful. And Dale is talking about the bees are dying. We're going to starve. Well, actually, there were some bees. I was really happy, and I took a video of bees on my property. They were in the flowers, and somebody said they weren't honeybees, but I thought they were honeybees. I really did. They were in the flowers, but I guess they were just bees. I'm not a bee expert. Again, I'm not an expert in anything. I'm talking to you, and we're learning together. So I'm not an expert. Actually, I'm a human resources expert. I'm an expert in the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. I'm an expert in employment laws. I'm an expert in affirmative action. In my career, I was, but that's not what I'm doing anymore. So actually, I can say that I am an expert in something. I'm certified up the yin-yang in that area, but I'm not in that area anymore. And Kim's hummingbirds are finally back. Awesome. See, now there are some good signs. We got to make them stay. How? I don't have the answers, but I know that this guy, Dr. Tim Ball, he doesn't have the answers. This guy, Dr. Tim Balls. Now that was a Freud. I also made a quote here too about science requiring empirical, objective, measurable evidence. And Ball is supporting the atmosphere needs the extra CO2. And in his videos, he has lots of graphics showing the levels of CO2 in different times of the Earth's history. And the evidence doesn't support a thing that are saying. That was something I had, written in my notes, but I'm going to finish with the notes. So to wrap up for tonight, basically, I'm going to read you what I sent to Mrs. Balls. I can't help myself now. Now I'm having fun. It's also late for me. I like to sit outside and do these things, and I couldn't do it. So this is what I sent back to Mrs. Balls. And I'm assuming Martha Ball might be his wife. Maybe it's just a husband and wife deal, Maybe. I like these late night videos. Small balls, probably. Yeah, probably. Thinks he has big balls, right? Now, do you want to sing? Who has the biggest balls in the ball? Okay, this is what I wrote back. Now, I pull myself together here. So, has Dr. Bell, and it's actually Ball, right? Okay, so has Dr. Ball changed his tune? Dr. Ball changed his tune, or is the lure of money from the fossil industry too strong? The Arctic is melting. My friends have been to the Arctic, and they're measuring the ice. We are dangerously close to a blue ocean event. We didn't hit it this year. Thank God, for whatever reason, it was projected, and we didn't. We got a reprieve. Human-caused activity is causing havoc. Sorry. I don't buy your husband's load of bull. He is propagating a dangerous agenda at the detriment of people. Species are dying off, and you know it. Is the flooding of Houston an anomaly? Ball is biased. Who is funding him? Sorry, not sorry. This video is just the global industrial complex bullshit, my favorite word of tonight. I've been studying climate change for a while now. Soil erosion is at risk because of the lack of nutrients from the garbage that's in our atmosphere. Ball's statement about increasing the yields, oh, this was another one. It's such, I'll tell you after this, it's such bullshit. It's all created by oil. We have past peak oil, and Ball doesn't talk about that. How much oil is used to create these unsustainable yields for an exploding population? How much is he getting in funding to spew this shit from Monsanto? Because he did talk about crops. And I'd also like to know, how much is he getting from the oil barons behind the tar sands? Who's funding Dr. Ball's skewed research? He lost me at the mention of Obama and his law school education. It is more offensive, bullshit, favorite word, ding, I should have a bullshit button. Then I'd really be like glomming off Hambone. By the neoliberal right-wing agenda. This is not a science seminar. This is a political obfuscation of the reality of human-caused damage to push a nefarious agenda. This video is a right-wing funded bunch of crap. Shame on the university for this. The case for CO2 is proven science. Has Ball changed his tune with Harvey and British Columbia burning up his country? And I also will tell you, and I told them, I think the IPCC is too conservative. They're too conservative on their measurements. And the Paris Agreement, that was a direct product of the fossil fuel industry. I hate to say it. I don't want to be out of it, though, because I think that that what the countries are doing for each other and the support by being in the Paris Agreement is very important, even though I think the numbers are a bit difficult. And finally, I said that Ball is throwing his data manipulation crap around with none of his own. Where's his own research? Dr. Ball is a tool. And he should be ashamed of himself. So that is what I wrote back to Mrs. Ball, basically, because I was absolutely mortified that she was a member of all of these groups. And that was what I wanted to warn you guys about. Dale says China is pursuing sustainability. Bigly! We're being left behind, short-sighted and sad. Well, I have talked about the fact that if Trump gets his tariffs, that 8,000 jobs in the solar industry could be lost. But one of the elephant in the room here, guys, is oil. The elephant in the room is that it's fossil fuel and oil to make all of the sustainable energy things that we need. We've got to figure this out. But we need ethical scientists that aren't driven by money. And I knew plenty of them in my job because I was HR over the research function in the university, which I say all the time. So, and Mindy says, all roads lead back to Monsanto. Well, you know, all roads lead back to Monsanto and Exxon. Oh, like Dottie says, or big oil, Mindy. Yep. Oh, and another one, the big three, big pharma. That's another one. I don't know if you guys saw, Trevor did a live stream last night, and he was talking about, water like he always does. And he was talking about waste. And this was great. He was actually talking about in our waste, medications that we excrete through our poop, and actually that pollutes going through, because the water treatment systems are not designed to take pharmaceuticals out of the waste. That's Trevor Andrew. He is one of our biggest supporters, and we are one of his. Trevor says 7.6 billion people on the planet. When we hit 10 billion people, we're in trouble. And yet they're going to cut off, in this country, we're going to cut off access to teaching materials for birth control. Very sad. I think it's also a racist agenda, but we won't, go too far into that tonight. So, Umber, you say China's laughing at us in several ways right now. I think the world has been laughing at us since Trump took office anyway. But, I don't want to go off on this like tangent. My daughter always tells me that when I don't have a scripted speech, that I go off on these rants and I don't make any sense. But of course, that's my daughter, and she's my most critical person who watches me. But actually, I really don't want to. I really wanted to talk about Dr. Tim Balls. I wanted to talk about the fact that we have to be careful in the groups that we are in. We have to be careful who we let in as friends. Very careful. And what is it? Trevor said, I can't get the comment, Trevor. Oh, I'm sorry. There was a comment and I can't get it from Trevor. One more. Well, anyway, it was okay. So we're wrapping this up with that. Be careful. Be careful of what you say in these groups. Don't stifle yourself. Just be careful. I might even, I have a different name on YouTube, and I do give my real name. Everybody knows my real name. I never thought that I had to not have my real name. And everybody also knows that I know my way around a weapon because my husband taught me how to hunt. So I really don't think that any kind of crazy person would make their way to my house and be a successful stalker. Just put it that way. But I want everyone to be safe, because tonight, this morning was illustrative that these people are targeting these groups, and they're targeting us, and they think that they're going to change our minds and to try to what? To become the climate deniers, to become ignorant to the fact that we are in an abrupt climate change time of the earth, that we may not have the time to come up with solutions. I don't like to be an alarmist and scare people. But what I really do feel is that we don't have the time. And Dr. Balls is dangerous. And all of those on DSmog blog, they have the list of a lot of these deniers, these people that are paid by these industries, even the Heritage Foundation, paid by them. They care about money, and they're after us. They really are. And we just have to be careful. So all of you guys, I want to thank you for being with me tonight. And it was a very spirited conversation. I enjoyed it. I'm looking for any more comments that I can figure out how to do it. Sometimes being the, manning the controls here of all the different things is not easy, but thank you. And again, be careful, be smart, and be educated. Peace. Love you guys. And share this. Thank you, everybody. Good night.